very
do the showrunners need a spanking? Probably. Oh, wait. Hey there, Nomads of Lore. I'm Sean.
And I'm Jonathan.
So, who is the mysterious stranger? No, not that one. This one. That is the question on everybody's mind who is still even remotely caring about the Rings of Power, which I guess is still us for now.
How can you not care?
Like this.
And as a bonus, if you get to the end of this video, we'll talk about another prediction we have on another character in the Rings of Power.
I suspect we will go back and forth this entire season, not just between the two of us, but on how we're feeling. There's still some stuff that we really don't like. It may be off on the end. We're having a glimmer of hope, and so we're gonna make this video pretending like
We care.
we care.
We do. We
And we'll
really
see
do.
what happens.
We do.
So there are some possibilities. We'll get to those later. We're gonna kind of start with who we think is some of the least likely and kind of work our way up. But you know, there are some, not the who we think is the most likely is not our favorite pick for who it is, as far as who we think would be the most interesting to see. But so we'll dive into that. So who is the theory out there that we've either heard or had ourselves that we think is the least likely, but I guess technically possible?
So, new character. Brand new spanking character.
new.
Yep. This is very
Do the showrunners need a spanking? Probably. Oh, wait.
So yes, they probably do.
What's going on
New character is a possibility for sure. I don't think it's very likely because we have heard that the actual actor who acts the stranger said that he's a very important character, right? And that pretty much
and he said it's something like he knows who he is, like what his role is in the story.
he knows what his role is in the story.
The
That's right.
implication is
Yep.
it's somebody important that we know something about.
Yep.
So,
Yeah. So it's probably not a brand new character that they've pulled from the annals of time.
Yeah. Not time from the annals of their butt. Like a lot of the other things they're pulling from. No, maybe that's too harsh. Maybe not.
So number two.
Number two. The next possible, but also pretty unlikely, is one of the blue wizards. If you did not know, if you're coming into this, there are several wizards, not just Gandalf and Saruman. There's, of course, Radagast. You can see Peter Jackson's ridiculous take on Radagast, although slightly maybe canonical-ish, kind of, sort of. Anyway, I digress. There were also, we have yet to see in film or television adaptation, the two blue wizards. Has been a theory that people have batted around and whatever else. We think that one's also pretty unlikely, mostly because they came together. Although it could be maybe interesting. There are some theories even among Tolkien fandom that they may have kind of turned evil-ish and gone off to the east at some point. There's not, we don't know a lot about them, so that might be an interesting take, but very unlikely. So what next?
So next we go to Radagast being a possibility, probably also about as low as the Blue Wizards. Also not a very fun one in my opinion. I don't think that's it.
What's being portrayed right now is nothing like Radagast's character, although
especially
that doesn't mean they couldn't do it.
well, they're doing a lot of things as portrayed from the original movies. The original trilogy.
Yeah.
And if that's the case, he's definitely not like
Pete Jackson's version.
Yes. So
he is bonkers, like the bonkers Radagast, but a different kind of bonkers.
Yeah. Special bonkers.
Yeah.
So
the next one that is probably the next most likely, but still pretty low. But it's honestly probably our favorite version. I think Jonathan and I both agree that this would be the most interesting variation of who he could be. And we've talked about this. We've spouted this theory before in another video of ours. That wasn't the point of the video, but he could be Saruman, which that if he is that would be interesting. That would be at least a more interesting take, seeing Saruman, because Saruman's original task was basically Gandalf's task. He was sent to stop Sauron. He was sent to oppose him and help the peoples of Middle Earth oppose Sauron. So the next question that's going to be kind of a running theme for the next three, including this one, well, less so for one of them, but is, why is he the way he is in the show? If it is Saruman, why is he confused? Bonkers? Why is he confused? Why is he weird? So there's not a ton of evidence that it's Saruman. The one piece of evidence that we can point to at this point that we've seen, you can let us know in the comments if there's any other evidence that y'all have seen. But is, one of Saruman's big thing is the voice of Saruman. He has some power in his voice, power of control over other people. And we see the one scene when we in the forest with Nori, with the stranger, where he uses his voice. He's not really speaking. I don't remember if he's speaking any words or he's just or whatever.
Yeah, I think
but we see at least nature being bent essentially to so, which might be an evidence for it being Radagast. He's got some kind of powers over nature, but that seems a stretch at best. So that's really the only real evidence we've seen. So it's still in the kind of not likely. The next two we're going to talk about are probably the most likely of this bunch. But we would love to see that be who it is. That might be something worth watching at least a chunk of the show for. So, yeah, what next?
Next on the list that might be equal to, maybe a hair more likely than Saruman, is Sauron. And the evidence towards that is that he just got finished being defeated in a big battle, and so there's possibility that they're kind of twisting things or making it like
very twisting.
Yeah, that something happened to him in this, and that's why he's confused. And so who knows where they're going with it, but that there's a slight possibility that it's him. I definitely personally like Saruman as a I think it's more interesting. But then the number one, who it probably is, and probably one of the more boring ones, or maybe not boring,
Cinchi,
but Cinchi, yes,
and like simplistic and lowest common denominator,
yes,
and like not necessarily. I don't know what I would say.
What
bad
were you saying
writing.
earlier about the show that they've been following basically the
generic fantasy
template,
script,
yep,
whatever, yeah. So probably most people, including us, think it's probably Gandalf.
Yep.
Right, and there are several evidences at this point for that.
His speaking to the tiny little fireflies that he kills.
He kills fireflies. Whatever that line was, it was a fun line.
It was funny. He speaks to the fireflies. He also
very similar same, shot to the moth thing.
Yeah,
yes,
yeah, and the same thing that we were talking about as a point towards Saruman, kind of bending the trees, kind of leans back to Gandalf being in Bilbo's house.
Yeah. Kind of like how
and
Peter
leaning
Jackson
over him, that kind
shot.
of feel. I think that's exactly where they got it from. Honestly, it's probably what it is. Any other evidences?
So the in this episode 3, it seemed like he was having some control over fire, which is a Gandalf thing. He
definitely had that while he was asleep too, before she woke him up.
And there's some things there. Now there are several. It wouldn't be the most awful thing in the world if he was Gandalf. I mean, it's fine, and that's the most generous thing I can say about it is it's fine. We've both enjoyed Nori, her character, and so they could spin it interesting, but there's a lot of dumb stuff about it, and so we'll see if that's who it is. He's there. It's kind of, I said this in our review of the first two episodes. Where it's essentially like explaining Han Solo's name of like, oh yeah, that's why he pays attention to hobbits. Yeah, exactly. That's why he's called Solo, because he was Solo. It's the same sort of idea where it's like a Cinchi contrived. Nobody need and on this one it's even worse. Like on that one, it's just like nobody cared why Han Solo was named Han Solo. We just thought he was named Han Solo. And this one, it's like nobody cares why Gandalf is interested in hobbits, which is not quite true in this case. They do, but it's like he cares about them because he's paying attention to the small and the weak, and that's very, the weak, it's not the powerful that are all, is winning the, or
There's
or
a really
the
good
key
line
linchpin.
that kind of goes along with that in the show. Nori says, right, with something about basically.
Oh, I did love that
I'm-
line actually.
I'm
Yes,
just I don't think I'm anybody important.
Yeah.
but he is, and my calling is to do
to
this
help
right
him,
now,
which is something we're missing
Something
a
along that
lot
line.
in our culture. And honestly, this is true. Whatever your political or other leanings are, we miss a lot in our culture these days of the importance of supporting characters,
Yeah.
and not just characters in fiction, but
Yep.
IRL as well.
Yep.
Being the person that supports the team and helps the team is just as vital. To put it in I'm not a sports guy, but the offensive line is just as important as the quarterback, if not more so. And we miss that a lot in our culture. We get these showboating NBA stars and whatever else and all these things and showboating celebrities, and so we miss the importance of supporting and being helpful. So I like that
Ryan-
line. I
yeah.
like that word that's left in there.
It's kind of like what Ryan Johnson royally screwed up in Star Wars, where there's everybody's important,
but nobody
is, and then
and
of
whatever
course there's
else.
the kid who makes the broomstick come to him at the end.
Which of the problems with whatever that movie's called.
Oh, let's not get started on that. Yep, that's good. That's good.
That's probably enough for this.
So
Rings
as
of
a
Power.
bonus, as the bonus that you've been waiting for,
Yeah.
Hold on to your butts.
you've been waiting for a whole 5-6 minutes, probably. No, probably knowing us, it's probably 20 minutes. No, I'm
Right.
just kidding. And so here it is, the prediction. What is the prediction?
So one of our commenters we're not going to take credit for this prediction / theory, because I don't think you had either, but I definitely had not thought of this or even read or heard of it. I've been kind of avoiding, honestly, other Rings of Power content because most of it's just screeching either people yelling woke or people yelling racist. Somebody's yelling something, and I've been avoiding all of that nonsense for the most part. So it may be widely discussed, but they said they had the thought and threw out there, I don't know that it was original to them, but that Halbrand is Sauron. Dun dun dun.
Dun, dun,
Which-
dun, dun,
Which
dun,
I
dun.
think, and I'll let you take this, because I think you don't believe it's going to happen, which
No.
I don't really know that I do either. But I think you like that idea better than I do. So what are your thoughts on Halbrand as Sauron?
No, I think it's an interesting idea, and what we talked about right before we started this video, or what I talked about, is that Infinity War was kind of a gamble. It was a great movie, one of my favorite movies, definitely favorite movie of that year, whatever it came out, 2019, whenever it was, I don't know, 2018, whenever it was. Great movie. But it was a gamble because the fans, the true fans, probably knew about the universe resetting and all the characters that, probably would make their way back on somehow and all that stuff. But the audience primarily
General
is not,
populace.
is not people that are sitting there reading comic books or fans from whatever. And so they hadn't seen that much resetting or that many people coming back from the dead. So Infinity War is like, holy crap, they just killed off half of the cool characters that I loved. Like, what is going on? And it ended up being a phenomenal movie. I don't think, unfortunately, my point being that Amazon has the guts or the balls or whatever you want to say to
The cojones.
to pull that off. I don't think they would take. I think it'd be a very good TV to have a character that we're starting to like. That's going. I know, but I'm saying as a general term, he's starting to be kind of the
Aragorn.
funny boy. Well, he's kind of like a comedic relief a little bit. He's been kind of funny and kind of an Aragorn character
pretty
that
guy
definitely
with long hair that
yes, and
I've seen several people online simping over.
yeah, and he's hidden. What do we call him? He's a king. He's the
Oh,
like
King in
Aragorn.
Exile.
King in Exile. There you go.
Yeah.
King in Exile.
Right.
But taking that character and turning him into someone like Sauron, someone
Evil. That's
terrible.
yeah.
Yeah.
Manipulative and all the things.
And him, he's probably going to eventually maybe have some kind of connection with Galadriel at some point. And it may be like a brief, like, oh no, this is not going to happen, or it may be a full-on romantic, who knows. But all those things could happen, and then he turns bad. I think that would be some interesting TV. I think it'd be something that might be enjoyable to watch. I don't know, but I don't think they're going to do it. What are your thoughts?
I really am not liking Halbrand right now, and so I'm not one of the people that's simping over him in any way, shape, or form. And I hate the idea of a romantic relationship with Galadriel. I think that's dumb, and so it doesn't. So I think because of that, I am less inclined to really like that idea now. Going into the Rings of Power, one of the things that I was the most excited about, honestly, was seeing after presumably we may or may, I don't know, they're doing a lot of weird things with timelines and story and lore. It's like all crazy right now. So who the heck knows? But maybe we see some other battle with Sauron, but then him and then basically infiltrating Numenor. And doing and whatever else I should say at this point, essentially, I've kind of gone too far. So sorry if I ruined your life, but spoilers, potentially, maybe, because who the heck knows what they're going to do at this point. But I that is something that I was very interested in seeing that manipulation and that subversion and the potential for him creating Morgoth cults there, and this that was something that I was interested in. And still might be. I don't know. I know this much about what they're going to do with it, and we've already seen them do some weird things with stuff. So I don't even know whether I'm excited about it anymore. But if it's him, then who knows? He seemed like a good actor. I will say that much. Like I don't have any problem with his acting. I don't even know that I have a problem with his writing. I don't.
He honestly hasn't had that much screen time.
No.
I mean, based on the fact that I said that I thought it might be good TV, you might think that I'm saying I like him. I don't really know what to think about him at this point. He's
just the idea of somebody being popular turning.
Exactly. And he hasn't really, like I said, he hasn't had much screen time. I mean, he's had screen time. He hasn't had much in the form of talking at all.
We haven't seen much of his character.
Yeah,
we've seen that he can fight and is brutal.
Yeah.
We've seen all of that, which could mean any number of things. They are trying to play his ancestors or whatever were Morgoth worshippers or whatever else and all that stuff. So is he going to be good or so?
He is a blacksmith, or says he can blacksmith.
Oh yeah, that would fit in with some of the rings stuff.
And then I'm still confused by the boy and his blood on the sword and what are they doing with all these things? Predictions. Anybody got a prediction for that? Put it in the comments. And if you liked this video, give it a thumbs up. We're enjoying putting out the content.
Give us a thumbs up,
That's
even
right.
if you disagree. Because
you
good granny boat. And if you give us a thumbs down, at least tell us. Is it because of the memes that we're throwing in, or is it because you just disagree
my hair
and whatever else?
His beard,
do I have a booger?
What is it?
What is it? What is going on?
Please let us know. Is it because... Never mind.
Audacity!
I'm not going there. Thank you guys.
See you later.